You're listening to episode 33 of Lifestyle Locker Radio with Travis Barton.
Because part of purpose is to be of service to the world, to make a dent, to make an impact, to leave a legacy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Josh Hand, and welcome to the Lifestyle Locker Radio, where we dive into what makes an awesome lifestyle. From relationships to money mindset, nutrition to fitness, emotional health to peak performance, we bring you on an amazing journey to unleashing your human potential. In the locker room today, we've got Travis Barton. He became a life coach, and it was a very clear decision for him. He's always wanted to do something positive for the world, helping people realize their dreams, long abandoned goals, and live happier, more fulfilled lives has been one of his biggest passions. His coaching is designed to provide inspiration and to facilitate positive change and growth to those who want to stop settling for less and reach their pinnacle potential in all of life's many grand adventures. So here you have him, the one, the only, Travis Barton. All right, everybody, Locker Nation, I want to welcome Travis Barton, the world-renowned life and business coach to Lifestyle Locker Radio. Welcome.
So stoked to be here, man. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you as well. Me personally, because what I've been finding out as I go through this journey of life is that mindset is the largest piece of the puzzle because it drives action for people. It drives purpose and all of these different things. And that's where I really want you to come into play, because I feel you are an awesome expert in this field. And I'm sure I've looked at your testimonials on your website, and people can't say enough good about you. So let's hear a little bit about your story. Like, where did Travis Barton, where did he come from? I don't want day one, right? I don't want the birth process. Okay.
I don't know. I hope it's a good story. I'm actually writing a book, and so I've been kind of writing a lot of this, and it's kind of interesting to go back and revisit some of these old things and to do it in that context. So you're getting me very fresh from writing this book. So my story, basically, I mean, you want to talk about attitude and mindset. I was always that kid with that, that attitude of why not? You have a goal, you have a vision, whatever it is, why not? I was always that kid. I always viewed the world through positivity and possibility. And, it was just always my attitude. So that's something that I made a promise to myself when I was younger that I'm going to keep that, because I saw so many people, even going through high school and everything, I saw so many people growing up, but also growing old. And okay. I mean that just being stale and letting the world get to them and choosing to become kind of jaded and sad from the world, and I didn't want to become that. But there was a point inevitably where social kind of pressures and cultural expectations kind of got me, settle for a job, settle for a woman, settle for a place to live, all these things, settle. And I always had to kind of, cultivate that attitude, positivity and possibility. I don't want to settle. I want to live my life on fire. And, through those pressures and expectations, I went through a point of a bit of a depression. I didn't really even know who the hell I was, man. And I was wildly depressed from it. I was anxious. I was, I was broke. I was at a job I hated. So I didn't even have anything to show for it. Yeah. I went through a pretty bad breakup. And there was one day where I'll never forget this, man. I was bartending at the time, and I woke up at like 4 p.m, which was strangely normal for me at the time. I got out of bed, walked past this bottle of wine that I had drank by myself the night before, walked to the, and I was just miserable. You can probably imagine. And so I walked to the bathroom, and it was just like one of those awakening moments, just an aha moment. I looked at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, because prior to that, for the past few years, I had been blaming everything, blaming my job, blaming the people around me, blaming my ex-girlfriend for making me miserable, blaming everything. But in blaming, I looked at myself and I realized I had given up total power to make a change, to have a positive attitude about life. Given up total power. I gave it. They had no idea they had the power, but they had the power. I inadvertently gave them the power to control my life. Extrinsic things were controlling me, my emotions, my job, everything. And so the hard thing was for me to take responsibility for where I was. But once I did, something happened. There was a shift, because now that I accepted responsibility, I also gained all the power to change my life. And that was the shift. And I remember I'm getting, just getting chills talking about this because I remember this so vividly. And I said, all right, Travis, now that you're powerful, what are you going to do about it? And, it wasn't a complete, not everything changed, but things began to change there and began to build from there. And, I always had that attitude of positivity and possibility, like I said, but I kind of lost it along the way. And once I cultivated that attitude in my 20s, I was on fire, man. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to help people do this. I didn't even know coaching was a thing. I didn't know you could do it. I didn't know if it was possible, but I was asking myself with that attitude, man, I was like, how is this going to be possible? I didn't know, but I took the first step and I just started putting myself out there on Facebook and stuff. And then I started connecting with people and, I learned about what coaching was. And it was just like an aha moment again. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's it. That's my purpose. And
awesome.
Yeah. So
that's Travis Barton, right? That's awesome. I'm just taking a couple notes here. This is cool.
Sure.
So this is really neat. It actually reminded me of a movie. And I can't remember the movie, but with great responsibility comes great power. I mean,
Spider-Man.
So is this Spider-Man? Is that what it is?
Yeah. With great power comes great responsibility.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So I'm thinking it backwards in my head with you because
sure.
You were saying the questions you ask yourself are the things that were actually driving you, right? So, would you say as a person in society now, like the questions you ask, will that help you or hurt you? The ones you're asking internally to yourself.
That's everything, man. You change your questions, you change your entire life. I can't state that enough. Literally, as a coach, what I do is ask powerful questions, and you do that for yourself, and you can do that, and you can sit there and get rid of the veil and be completely vulnerable and open, and authentic. Change the way you speak. So I don't really believe so much in impossible. There's things that are, come on, let's get reasonable. You can't go spread wings and fly, right? But a lot of people, they say impossible. And they say that's impossible. And so what I want to do is ask, how is it possible? And they'll say, no. So many people are so conditioned to think this way. It's impossible, but it's impossible. And I always say, yeah, I know it's impossible. But if it were possible, how would it be possible? And then, guess what? Now with the floodgates open, there's all these different ways that could work. So it's not impossible. We're just not asking ourselves powerful questions now.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm miserable. My life sucks. Right? That's unfortunately a lot of people do that. I was doing it for a number of years, But why? You're not making a change there. You're allowing yourself to suffer. So instead of my life sucks, why don't you ask yourself, how can my life be extraordinary? How can it? You start doing that, you'll come up with all sorts of interesting things that can help cultivate that extraordinary, positive, happy life. So just change your questions. Make yourself powerful and ask yourself some extraordinary questions.
Yeah, that's really, really great.
And you change everything. Mm-hmm.
And being that I've known you for a very short time, a few minutes here, right? But knowing you through your social media and your website, and I was thinking this earlier before we got on the call. You're a result of you being your first client, right? I don't know if you've ever thought of it that way, but you had to come out of your shell, right? You had to kind of break free, as your story is. And, for those that are listening, this is to work with someone that has created their own change, that understands the steps, the processes, all the different things that need to happen in between this, the skull to actually make that change is super, super important. So what I would love for you, if you wouldn't mind, to share, I know you have different types of ways you work with people. And if you want to go through all three, I would absolutely love that. Just briefly kind of because people that are listening are into this, or into mindset, or into their physical body, or into their finances, or into things and making everything better, or lifestyle better. So, you're going to have so many different types of people, obviously, but I want you to drive, or pull, if you will, some of the minds of these people, because some people may be like loaded, multi-millionaire, billionaire, who knows? But their personality, they feel like they're failing in life. So like the dollars are not making sense, right? It's like, okay, I made $80 million last year, but I feel like a complete jackass type of thing. Totally. or the person that's, just out of school or maybe even in school is going, like, I don't know what I want to do. I you're like you, right? Like, I just got to take this job just to be part of society. So would you mind diving into those three different types of programs you do and kind of give examples of the type of people that would probably drive towards those?
Well, absolutely. I think, you mentioned somebody I made $80 million this year. Why the hell am I still miserable? We're chasing that golden nugget, and we think it's going to make us happy, even though we hear from everybody else that it's, money doesn't create happiness. We don't believe it until we're actually there. We go, oh yeah, money doesn't create happiness. We need to know it, understand it on an experiential level to really grasp that. So I've worked with CEOs and people who are successful financially, but are completely aren't living in harmony. They're not happy with up in the world and their authentic self. So I think and I'll just talk with you briefly on some of the most important kind of things I work with people on, and it would be identifying who you are, man. So who are you? So I want to understand. A lot of people will go through life and we'll start a business that's completely incongruent with what our heartbeat is telling us. We'll work for a company that's completely incongruent with our values. We will be in a relationship with somebody that's completely incongruent with our values. So the first step is what? It's to identify what our core values are. What lights us up? What do we believe in? What is our fingerprint in life? What are your 5 core values? Get rid of what you think people think you should do, or how you should believe, or what you should think, or what you should say. Really sit there, and if you got to meditate on it, meditate on it. That's a powerful tool. Sit and write down 5 core values, the most important things for you. I guarantee if you're making $80 million and you're completely miserable, you're not living in alignment with your core values. So there's something there. Maybe one of my core values was adventure.
Okay.
Right? And I wasn't living in alignment with that at all. So taking steps to live in alignment with all of those core values. So I always ask, how can you think more in alignment? So if your core value is, one of it is compassion, and you're constantly like not being compassionate to the world, then there's an integrity gap there that we need to figure out. So how can you think in alignment with compassion? How can you speak in alignment with compassion? And how can you act in alignment? So think, speak, and do. And you do all those 3 things in alignment with your core values. That's absolute harmony. That's absolute clarity. That's absolute integrity. So it's one thing to think something, but do something completely different.
Okay, action.
So the first step's acknowledging it, what it is, and then living in alignment with that. Right?
Perfect.
The other one that I really, and how I started coaching, because it was such an important part of my life, and I would wake up in cold sweats, not knowing what the hell I was going to do with the rest of my life. I never learned it in school, obviously. I was supposed to find a job to do for the rest of my life, and I didn't even know who I was.
Yeah,
like that blew my mind. I was just, life is such a precious thing. How am I going to spend time at a job I hate? So identifying purpose. I work with people on that one-on-one, and that's one of my passion programs that I do.
Okay, the purpose.
And that's, okay. I think we talked before the interview briefly, that's the foundation, man.
Yeah.
Before you start a business, before you embark or before you decide you want to work for a company, is it in alignment with your core values, and is it your purpose? So purpose, tell a quick story. I was in Japan and I learned about this philosophy, Ikigai, which means your reason for being. And this is a big chunk of how I work with people through purpose. Not all of it, but I think the most important piece. And Ikigai, think of 4 quadrants.
Okay.
The 4 quadrants ask questions, which we get deep into. It's, what are you passionate about? That's the most important one. The next one is, what are you good at? The next one is, what does the world need? And finally, what can you be paid for? So you can be passionate about a million different things, but they're not all going to be your purpose, right? You can be good at a million different things. It's not all your purpose, maybe. Or maybe you're passionate about something, but you're not very good at it. So powerful question, how can you get good at it? Right? They say it takes 5 to 7 skills to be extraordinary at something. What 5 to 7 skills do we need to be truly extraordinary at that? So people are knocking on your door. They want what you got, right? And does the world need it? right? Because part of purpose is to be of service to the world, to make a dent, to make an impact, to leave a legacy. And finally, of course, a lot of people don't like to reconcile, getting paid with their purpose, but it's important, right? We need to feed ourselves and have a home. And so that's a big thing. I was in Japan and I learned about that. And I was hiking a mountain. I didn't hike Mount Fuji. I wanted to, but I hiked a mountain next to it, and I sat at the top and I did like a meditation, and I did this, and it was just it's such a beautiful moment, and I was a little more clear on my purpose after doing that. But I don't want you to stop just go, what am I passionate about? Nothing, because a lot of people do that. I don't know this. I want you to really, what could you be passionate about? What did you used to be passionate about? What kind of hobbies do you have now that you're interested in? What could you be strong at? What could the world need? Maybe the world doesn't know it needs it yet.
Yeah.
Ask yourself some powerful questions within that. So that's purpose, man. In a nutshell. I know we're kind of doing this.
No, that's good. That's good. That's great. I mean, people need to hear this, because this is what, like you said, this drives everything. This is the I, right? You
right.
behind everything.
Right. Absolutely, man. And then you asked for a third one. So let's do Barefoot Business is my business baby. So that's the program that I needed when I was starting my coaching business. So I hired some of the best mentors and coaches and the books and everything. And I started to realize that a lot of it it's been said before, but just some different ways. Mm-hmm. Business, just talking with a client about this, business is not as hard as everybody makes it out to be. Because it's like this cosmic joke to me that we think that business has to be difficult. It's like, well, people want you to think that it's difficult, because how are you going to buy their Forbes magazine that's going to have the 5 steps that are going to make you successful this year or whatever, right? Yeah. So there's certain things that are surface level things that we do, of course, need to work on, marketing strategies, things like this. And it's, once you get that dialed in, it's good to go. And there's so much information overload out there. So this was the program that I kind of made for myself, really, like 7 years ago, and just put all the surface level things together, marketing, social media, building effective relationships. And then the main thing with the Barefoot Business is that we go deep inner work, because none of the surface level stuff matters if we're not doing the deep work, right? True. It's just kind of masking, putting a Band-Aid over it. So I find, because I did find, at first Barefoot Business was a very surface level program, nuts and bolts. Literally everybody I worked with, I found that life coaching became a significant part of the business coaching as well. It's very interesting. So that was an important distinction to make. And now, so that's what you have here. So to give you a tool there, it would be, what's your mission? What's your company's mission? What's your brand mission? What do you stand for? And everything that you do, whether it's the kind of clients you accept, or even it's something as small as the kind of tweet that you put out into the world, is it congruent with your mission? Does it serve your mission? And I think that's the distinction to make. A lot of people they try to please everyone, and in pleasing everyone, you please no one. You don't really, you can't really impact somebody that way, right? Give them chills and go, that's my guy. That's my business.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, being liked by everyone doesn't help anyone.
No,
right?
No, make a dent in the world, man. What did Winston Churchill, dude, right? What did Winston Churchill say? He goes, if everybody likes you, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing. He goes, that's not a good thing. He goes, people don't like you, that's good. It means you stood for something at some point in your life. Hell yes. So make your mission reflect, make it a dent in the world. Make an impact, a positive impact, leave a legacy, and make everything you do, I'm talking everything, serve that mission. Make sure it's in alignment with that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm thinking of as you're talking to us, a quote that I've heard. I mean, God, I don't know where I heard it, but I've heard it for maybe a decade, if not more. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, right? Isn't that like that's like, what's your purpose, bud? Get off your ass, type of thing, right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Don't say, I guess it goes, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. It's sacrifice your mission. That's the sadness.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people sacrificing that. I say, you want to be successful? Listen, man, you read Think and Grow Rich, you can read Richard Branson, Tony Robbins, whatever. All it comes down to is this. These 3 attitudes: passion in what you're doing, persistence in doing it, and patience. Patience is so important and so understated, because patience means never sacrificing your vision. Being persistent in that vision and being patient and never sacrificing it for the money or something else that's trivial like that.
Yeah. So what would you say to, a person that's, we'll just say like a young entrepreneur, male, female, it doesn't make a difference, but the steps that they would take, you get knocked down. I mean, I'm sure you have, I know I have, in those steps, what would be something you want to like reach for inside? I know I kind of have an idea what you're going to say right now, but what are some like maybe thoughts or feelings or maybe like a mantra or something you can say like, screw it or whatever, like you just got to keep going, but something that's impactful that someone can maybe put in their head. I'm sorry, I put you on the spot there.
No. That's a really good question because I'm really putting myself in that position when I was younger, and I think what I needed to hear. So that's a really good question, and something I've done a lot of these, but something I've never been asked. So that's a very powerful thing. So I want to make sure that if there's any kids listening, that they really listen to this, because we're surrounded. The ecosystem around us, the people that surround us, the dreamers of the world who have visions, who want to be entrepreneurs or do something a little different, quirky. We're going to be surrounded by people who are going to say, "That's silly. That's ridiculous. Get a quote unquote real job," as if that were something that that the one size fits all for everyone. You're going to get disparaged a lot. People are going to try to knock you down. That just comes with the territory. In my own experience, I'll tell you, it happened with me. I had a lot of people who didn't believe in me. And I'll just tell you right now, those same people who didn't believe in me are now asking if I'm hiring. Okay.
How funny, right?
Yeah, I know. It's very interesting. So you're going to get that a lot. It's important to find that passion that I talked about and be persistent and patient in it. When you're on that path, okay, let's put it this way. A lot of people who they're going to try to give you constructive criticism, in life, and then you come to realize they haven't really constructed anything in their life, right?
I like that.
So it's like, who am I going to listen to? Am I going to listen to the guy at the bar who's telling me that, your dreams are silly? But then ask yourself, maybe you can't connect with Richard Branson, or maybe you can't connect with me on a personal level yet. But what would Richard Branson say? Do you think he would say, "No, that dream's ridiculous"? Right? Do you think I would say to you, "Oh no, let's rein it in a bit. That's a bit. Come on, let's slow down."
Too big.
Yeah, too big. But who do you want to be like? Do you want to be like that guy sitting at the bar, or do you want to be like Richard Branson? So you got to stop taking constructive criticism from people who haven't constructed anything. Follow your leaders. Follow the people that you're admire, and read their books. Immerse yourself in their world. We're in a beautiful age that we have social media, Twitter, Instagram. You can, I respond to a lot of people these days. They respond to everything they get as much as they can, and just connect with them. Maybe you can't surround yourself with them now. And it was Jim Rohn said, you're most like the 5 people you spend the most time with. Maybe you can't do that, but you can read their books and immerse yourself like that. You can follow them on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one more thing. Odds are you're going to fail. But we have this model of the world, a lot of people, that failure is bad. Failure is a bad thing. But you got to learn how to celebrate those failures. And because I will tell you right now, any successful person respects somebody who has failed over and over and over again, much more than anybody who has never failed. Because people who have never failed have never shot for anything in their life. That's a promise. I know that. Richard Branson know that. You know that.
I know that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Steve Jobs knew that. This is the fact of the world. But failure isn't so scary once you fail. It's really not. It's like, oh, okay, well, change that attitude. What did I learn from this? How is this failure a good thing? If this were disguised as a lesson, what would it be begging to teach me? Right? So reframe your failure, get up, dust off, and your haters are going to go, "Oh, yeah, I told you," whatever. Right? Get back up and say, "Do it again." Okay?
Yeah, fail forward, right? I mean, we've heard that.
Fail forward. Yes, man. Yes,
we've heard
I love it.
That's, we've all heard that and seen that in people's social media, but I mean, that's so true.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like inventing the light bulb, or the person that they're inventing the iPhone. Mm-hmm. Come on, a computer in our hand, Really? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. And then now what? Now now these things are the most powerful devices on the planet.
Make that distinction, though. Everybody thought Steve Jobs was not, nobody believed in him. And all of a sudden now, everybody's got an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got an iPhone. So you're never going to shake up the bigger your dreams are, the more adversity you're going to face. If you want to shake up the world, hell yeah, I say go for it. Shake up the world. Be persistent, be passionate in it, be patient in it. Mm-hmm. Shake up the world. But you can't shake up the world and have everybody be in your corner and go like, I believe in that. Hell no. Right? Extraordinary things happen from extraordinary minds. Not everybody has that kind of mindset. Okay, we got to understand. All right, and it can get difficult, and I know I've been there. You just got to recalibrate and just find people who believe in you, man. Yeah, and surround yourself with people.
Yeah, I want to just kind of like backpace for 2 seconds here. You mentioned something that I think is so crucial for so many people, me included, and this has been like, I don't know if you can see it. The books I have that's only a portion of it, boatload of books that I read. But find maybe mentors, if you can't get someone to help you right away, like the books by Richard Branson or Think and Grow, you start to like immerse yourself in the philosophy of where you want to be, like you said, finding these masters, right? And then find a Travis Barton, then find someone that can help you get that to the next level. Because anybody and everybody that has had success in life, whether it's an athlete or a business person or you name it, has had either a mentor or a coach, whatever you want to call them, someone to help either guide or lead or pull from them their true self. So I applaud you for being that person.
Yeah, I mean, it's my purpose, man.
Yeah.
How can I not, right? I want to just touch on that briefly. It's so important to have people in your corner that hold you at your highest self and don't allow you to settle for less and to really push you in the direction that your heart's calling you in, because it's so easy to get backtracked and it's so easy to say, it's easier to do this. What I do is I say, yeah, it's easier right now. But if you do what's easy, your life is going to be difficult because you live with regret. If you do what is difficult right now, life will be easy. I promise you that. And so you need people. You need, because nobody, your buddies at the bar, they want to hear about your dreams and stuff. They go, oh, they'll pat you on the back and go, oh, I'll get them next time. We're not really used to having these powerful kind of conversations that really hold us as our highest selves. And that's a sadness, but hey, that's why I'm here, man. I guess I've been doing it my whole life, and it's cool that I get to do it for a living.
Yeah, so. And it's neat that the people that are listening, it's really interesting because I'm sure the people that are listening are the people that are on our side of the fence, if you will. Mm-hmm. And if not, they're being kind of like slowly pulled over, like magnetized towards this, because people are realizing, I see this, and I won't bash millennials or Generation X. We all have different types, or baby boomers, whoever's listening, different types of ways we grew up, different technologies, different personalities, everything. Like, here's a trophy for saying hello type of thing, right? That shouldn't exist. I think that mentality with people, creates like almost like I want to be a millionaire. Shouldn't be easy. It should be given to me type of thing. I'll get a job, be easy. And they need to realize that finding that purpose and saying, screw it. I need to actually dive into my life to figure out who the hell I am so I can, springboard out.
Yeah, man. Like that's, we keep going back to it's just the foundation, and it's just like this. We learned. I was just talking to my girlfriend about this. It's so funny. Why didn't we have a school or a class in school about how to file for taxes? Or, are the important like life skills? And then I'm thinking the most important life skill is to know who you are.
Yeah.
We don't have that. And that's something that everybody should have the privilege of having, is the opportunity to really discover who you are. We do this. We're born, we go to school, we go to the next school. We're constantly going out here. We're living out here, right? And then we go to high school and we graduate, go to college, and then we got to get a job and keep getting a raise. And by the time we retire, we go, whoa, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do now, right? So we're constantly living out here, but we don't even know who we are. We don't have the time to. So, it really is important. And whether that be taking some time off, meditating, traveling for a bit, but with that intent of discovering self. I think that's so important, man. I think it's so understated and so wildly important.
Oh, I agree 100%.
And again, yeah, we could talk about success and the attitude that it takes to be successful all day, but it doesn't matter if you're successful at something that you're not deeply in love with. At the end of the day, it's just not going to matter.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So yeah, foundation.
Oh, I love that. I was just thinking, oh God, you got me like my brain like spinning in circles here. I love it. I love it. Like, going back to schools, like, right, you know, and it makes me think about this. I've seen and read and heard things recently in the past, you know, few months. It's like, you know, the way schools were 100 years ago, 150 years ago, were designed to put you like in a certain setting, sit a certain way, like in these seats, stay seated the whole time, ring when the bell goes off, move when things again, you got to sit back down. It's like, okay, we're being trained to be in factories, which back then that was what had to be done. I mean, come on. I mean, how have we evolved our education? You know, I think the real education happens outside of school. You know,
yes, thank you for saying that. I mean, it's so understated. I mean, I think the place, you know, I don't want to start a whole revolution here.
But we do.
Yeah, we kind of. No, I mean, you know, if you want to get in on that with me, maybe that's part of something. But the school system's just whack. I mean, how much of it is actually quality education from an experiential standpoint? What we're taught is we are taught to ingest information, and even significantly less of us digest it. But none of us metabolize that information. We don't understand it. We know it. We don't understand it. So we just regurgitate just useless things that we'll never use or that aren't important for us. We're not taught how to think. We're not taught how to think for ourselves. And I think that's so important. You talk about going out in the world. That's where the real education comes. And if you want to discover yourself, go on a walkabout, go hiking for a week and really sit and reflect and, you know, be engaged with people that you're interested in and pursue your passions and make your strengths even stronger and, you know, talk to people, be engaged in the world. Right? There's no way that you're going to be, all the great businessmen, a lot of them, they've never even graduated any semblance of a college, you know, and it's silly that we still have that model that you want to be successful, you have to go to school, you have to go to college. College is great for some careers if that's what you want, but it's not a one size fits all, man. It's not, right?
Yeah, it's so true.
We got to shake up that education system, man. It is crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, experience alone itself, you know, like saying going on a walkabout, go and do these things, you know, I don't know how old you are, but when I grew up, you know, we were taught to, like, my mom would say, like, wouldn't even say anything. I would run out, I get home from school, I would run outside. And then I would, like, you know, 9 o'clock, I'd be like, where the hell is he? And I'd be like 10 years old, but we're running around, doing things. And now we're just taught to sit on the technology and just stare and stare and stare. And we kind of lose a connection with the world, period.
Oh, man.
Like, everything is through technology.
Everything. And the thing is, man, you know, I had to turn off my notifications on my phone. Well, my text message, but my Facebook, Instagram, I had to turn them off. It's too distracting. And I did a camping trip out in Joshua Tree about a year ago, and I did this video.
Oh, it's beautiful out there.
And oh my God, man. Yeah, the sunrise. I watched the sunrise. But I did this video on why distractions are ruining your life. And it's only going to get worse. So if you don't nip this now, it's only going to get worse. We're talking about virtual reality and all sorts of, you know, awesome kind of, they are great. They're awesome. Technology is incredible. The fact that I can connect with you, we connected technology. It's great, but we use it too much and we're distracted. So we don't have time to really think. We're constantly got these monkey mind going, thoughts coming up in our head that aren't us.
Yeah.
You know, so models of the world, belief systems, all these things coming into our head that really aren't us. And in the minute that we have nothing to do, what do? I'm going to go on Reddit. I'm going to go on Instagram. I'm going to you know, scroll through Facebook and take some time. Put the phone away, man. And I read this comic and it was so funny. It was recently. It was a comic that said, you know, there's a guy talking to a bunch of kids and he goes, "You guys want to do something really scary?" And the kids go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Why don't we go to bed early and be alone with our thoughts?" You know?
Yeah.
But it doesn't need to be scary. It's just that we're not used to kind of having that, we're not used to asking the big questions because we don't want to deal with the kind of, the process of getting there, of answering them, but I think that's such an important part of living an extraordinary life and living fulfilled is to be alone with those thoughts and to think about them. Yeah. Allow it to come and process that. We don't do that, man. The red notification goes on your phone. We go, ooh, Facebook. Yeah. Somebody liked my status that I'm not even going to remember it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, what? What are we doing? What are we doing?
And all of these good habits that you're talking about, these like the lifestyle changes, are not something that you have to be all or none right away. I want people to understand that it's what, if you're addicted, like I would probably say 90% of the population is to their technology, that if you gave yourself 10 minutes a day, which is really not a lot to ask for, and just sit down, whether it's reading like something that's I don't mean like a novel, but read something that's going to maybe like make you think, read something that's going to do something, not a magazine. You start to create that habit, it's going to become part of your life. And then you may want less of, that other distraction because you're being fed like something that's going, oh, wow, what if?
Yeah.
What if?
Absolutely, because you see the change. And I think that's important, that a lot of people try to get intense. So they'll hear this and they'll go, phone off for a week. And then what you do is you become even more obsessed after that week with your phone because you haven't had it, because you're so intense with it, right? I think consistency is the most important thing. So just building the habit. I had a client recently, he was like, he's from Japan, and he's like, he was waking up at like 2 p.m. He's like, I want to wake up every day at 5:30. And I'm going, hey, consistency over intensity. Let's, and then a week later, he's like, I want 5:30. I'm going to do it. And then, it started to slowly
trickle away.
Yeah. So it's important though. Yeah, you're right. Put the phone away 10 minutes a day. Maybe turn off the notifications and set 2 to 3 times a day. You can check social media. You have that a lot of time, right?
Yeah.
But turn off the notifications. Everybody should do that right now. Everybody should turn off the Facebook and Twitter and Instagram notifications. Do it. Because what happens is I'm going to sit at a table with you having a conversation, and if I see that thing go off, I can even pretend I'm with you, but I'm not with you, man. I'm not fully, right? I'm going, who just messaged me right now on Facebook? Was it, And so turn that off.
Yeah.
But, maybe have a lot of time, 2 to 3 times a day. Like I'll only check my email once a day.
Okay.
But I've built to that, it's not something that I did right away. I really did have to build to it.
That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. And it also allows you to be, if you love social media that much, you owe it to your friends to only be on it once a day. And I'll tell you why. Because when you have that a lot of time, you're much more present in it. So you can give like thoughtful responses or answer in a thoughtful way the email or any number of those things.
Yeah. So like time management. I mean, we can talk for I think till tomorrow. You know what I mean? But
sure.
Yeah, so these skills that you're sharing are life skills that need to be adopted throughout life. Whether it's technology, whether it's whatever, whether it's fitness, whether it's eating, all of these things it's the same. Everything behind the scenes is the same. It's just how we're applying that purpose.
Yeah,
that philosophy,
absolutely.
Right. So very cool.
Absolutely.
Wow, this went in a better direction than I could have imagined. This is awesome.
Good, man. The energy was great today, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Super good. So what's next for Travis Barton?
Ooh, well, I'm writing my book. Don't know when it's going to be released because I'm slowing down on it. I'm just kind of letting it process. So it's going to be called The Adventure of Purpose. I'm assuming it'll be out by the end of the year. I am working with some high-performing, extraordinary people who want to take their lives to the next level at the moment, and I'm working on speaking a bit of a small tour.
Oh, very cool.
Doing that, yeah. And other than that, man, just loving life and enjoying it and having fun, man. Basically, it. Just doing what I've been doing for the most part, just on a bigger scale.
Very good. I mean, that's great to hear because the whole time on this call, I mean, not everybody can see this, right? Only me. At this point, right? But you got to smile. You're very animated. You're excited. This is not someone just sort of listen. This is not someone that's scripted. This is not like something we planned out.
No,
this is the real deal.
Yeah. What did I say to you before? I feel like I'm an open book. I felt like that with you almost. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a good conversation, man. Just an open book and just go. I love these conversations because most people don't have them, so it's very, it's good for me. It lights me up. When it lights me up, I'm just pumped.
Yeah, that's good. Like they jump through the screen type of thing, right? This is really cool.
Yeah.
But so let's end on this high note. So Locker Nation, everything will be in the show notes for Travis Barton. Everywhere you can contact him. I won't put his cell number or anything like that in there. But I mean, he may want that, but I'm not going to do it. But I want you to connect with him. Follow him on Twitter. Follow him on social media, so you can he's got these really cool little 15-second videos he puts up, right? Which are really like, it's like boom, motivation, boom, inspiration, boom, wow, engagement. And also remember to shut your what do we say? Your notifications off, right? And,
turn off the notifications, man.
Yeah, and then search for them when you go back in so you can find them. All right, so that's it. Right, so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm very excited to have you on the call, and I appreciate you responding and saying yes.
Absolutely, man. Much love. It was a pleasure, certainly.
So now that you've finished listening to the interview with Travis Barton, how many of you are actually going to go out and check out his website? Before you do that, head over to lifestylelocker.com. We'll have all of his details there. You'll be able to meet him there. Well, not in person, but connect with him. You can connect with him on Twitter and so on and so forth. We'll have all of those details so you can actually follow this guy. He's been famous for having these awesome 15-second motivational clips on Twitter. That's how I found him. And this guy is so cool. So his 15 seconds are inspirational and awesome. That's why we had to get him on here for about 40 minutes. So Travis, I know you're listening too, buddy. Thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart and the bottom of Locker Nation's heart, we do love and appreciate what you've given, the gratitude you've shared, the content. My goodness. So thank you again. And Locker Nation, until next time, peace out.